Hey everyone, today I'm excited to announce the launching of SEC Eagle, a Python package built to create accessibility to US stock market data. So whether you work in fintech or you're just an individual investor looking to upgrade your picks, this package will help you retrieve the data you're looking for. That being said, let's get over to the code. All right, now that we're in the code, there's a few things I want to talk about before we get going. The first being is the most recent versions of Python, 3.14, does not let you pip install this package as it is missing some of the drivers that are in the older versions. Python typically adds those drivers later on as the version becomes more stable in production. So nothing to worry about long term. But what I do recommend right now to save yourself some pain is to pip install this using Python version 3.13 or lower. And quick tip, if you are inside of a Jupyter notebook, you can use the exclamation mark to use your command lines. So right here, I'm just going to pip upgrade so you don't have to watch me uninstall it. But you can pip install right inside of your cell. It'll look something like this. And you'll be good to go. I'll start out with the three main pieces of the way this package works. Part one is gathering the identifiers that the SEC uses so you can get data from the companies. Step two is retrieving the files that the data lives in. Step three is scraping the data out of those filings. As we go through this, we're going to follow that same pattern, and we will see how these different steps build on each other and how the code uses itself throughout this process. So to start out, let's go down here to where we are importing from SEC Eagle. You will want to import FileGather, SEC Company, and Get Tickers. FileGather and SEC Company are classes, and they have functions available on them that we will use, much like a data frame. And Get Tickers is a function instead of a class. This is what allows us to pull back all of the kick strings, tickers, and the titles of all the companies from the SEC. And one important step right here, you will uncomment this email part and actually insert your email address. For me, I'm just importing in my email address. That way I don't have it displayed in the middle of the video for privacy reasons. So I'm going to go ahead and run this code. I imported my email address. I got my functions imported, and I imported pandas as well. Now that we have that, I am going to run the get tickers function that we just were talking about. We can see it returns a data frame for me, and it has the kick string, the ticker, and the titles. If you're familiar with the US stock market, this will look familiar for you. If not, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the structure, the way this works. So inside of the stock market, you can either be a single class company or a multi-class company. An example of a single class company is NVIDIA. So if I take this kick string right here and I filter this column to show that, we will see that one row is going to be returned. And yes, this is stored as a string as there's leading zeros inside of a kick. All right, so now we have one result right there. I'm going to comment this out. We run it, and I will show you an example of a multi-class company. An example of that will be Google. So Alphabet is their proper name. So I'm going to take their kick string right here. And when we get this back, we will see that there's two different tickers for Google. So their Class A and their Class C stock. This is important to note because the kick string exists on the company level. Every company will have one kick, while every trading line will have one ticker. So I can buy GOOG or GOOGL as two separate stocks if I would go and trade on the stock market. Very important to note this as we get down to part two, as it will help us create more efficient code. The reason for this is because every single URL that you will be querying is built on the kit code. So say we want to go and query every single company on the SEC. If we would do it with tickers instead of the kick string, what would happen is Google would be ran twice, which would slow it down quite a bit because across the SEC, there's probably thousands of companies that are dual lines like that. So just remember that when you're writing your code to save yourself some time. Now that we've gotten here to part two, we are going to start gathering some filings. So from part one, I just copied the kit code right here for NVIDIA. So I'll go ahead and create my file gather object. I pass it my email just like I did for the function up there. But this time I'm going to specify I want my result returned as a data frame because you have the option as a dictionary as well. So I'll run this. Now what we are going to do with this file object is use some of the functions that are built into it. The first one being company file. This will return the most recent filing out of the specified file types that you have. So inside of this example, I am going to say I want 10Ks and 10Qs. 10K is an annual report, 10Q is quarterly reports. So if I go ahead and run this, it will generate me a URL right here. I'll click on it so you can see what it looks like. Opens up, standard 10Q form, nothing fancy about it. But it gets back the most recent one. That way, when I go to get my data, I can just extract the most recent data if I don't want to gather all the data for every single file that they've ever had. But say there's a use case that I do want to gather every single filings data. There's this all company file function, same structure. I'm going to pass it in 10Ks and 10Qs, pass it in my kick, and specify that that code is a kick, and it returns this data frame for me. So I will get all of these different filings right here that I'm able to then use to go and query different data. Now that I have this set up right here, I want to write a loop for bulk file generation. I am going to use that identifier from part one that I showed you earlier, where we generated this list of tickers and kicks. And I'm just going to look at the top 50 of them. That way I can get data from bulk. So in order to expand it a little bit to more filing types, I'm going to grab 20Fs and 40Fs. The reason being is 10Ks and 10Qs are for companies that are headquartered in America, while 20Fs and 40Fs are for companies that are in foreign countries but still trade on one of the United States exchanges. So I will run this code, and here shortly, in a little bit of time, we will see that all of these have been ran. And one nice piece right here is that if the filing type isn't available for a company, it will spit you out the URL for the company and show you that, hey, inside of this JSON, it doesn't have that filing type anywhere. And you can go through and look to see what filing types are available if you're interested in that, but that's a little beyond the scope of this. So 16 seconds, I was able to gather my URLs. I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like here. So boom, you have your list of URLs that you can use. Or here's another option. If you want to look at the recent filings that are out on the SEC, say in the past week, you can pass it the filing types you want to consider. So 10K, 10Q, 20F, 40F once again, and run this. And now we can see that there was 52 entries found during that time period. And we can see 10Ks, 10KAs, 10Qs as well. And this is just automatically built from SECs. They have a recent filing tab that you can go look at manually. That is going and scraping that and gathering the URLs for you to use. All right, part three. This is where rubber meets the road. This is where we get the data back from the filings that we've been looking for this whole time. So I copied and pasted the NVIDIA filing from up above to show you a single company, what it looks like. So here, you're going to create your SEC company object. You're going to pass it your URL that you built above with the file gather object, your email address, and your data frame. I'm going to go ahead and run this. And now from here, we can use this function called XML parser. This allows you to grab DEI data like entity common stock outstanding or US GAAP data such as earnings per share out of the filings. I will show you how you can find these tags inside of the XBRL URLs by opening this. And every single object that has red underlining and a line above This is scrapable data from the XBRL. So I know I want the shares. So I come in here, I see my tag, I'll copy it. And then inside of this list here, I'll paste it. And that's exactly what I did with the tags that already exist inside of here. So go ahead, play around and find ones that you like. I know that I wanted to see this number of stocks outstanding. I wanted to see the incorporation company, which is right up here. So I just copied and pasted that. And I also wanted to see earning per shares. So in order to find something like that, you can just search earnings and it'll recognize where it's at, take you to where it's at in the document, and you can grab that tag from it. So play around, see what data points that you're able to extract out of these 10Ks, 10Qs, whatever filing types you're looking at, what adds value to your project. These are the three that I'm choosing for now, so I'm going to run the code. And it returns a nice data frame for us, and it has the base URL, which shows just the company filings, as well as a URL at the end called the location URL, which shows you exactly where that attribute exists inside of the filing. So I know right up here, this is my shares outstanding. You can see that inside of the data tag. It's the exact same thing that you passed up here in the list. So they have this 243 number, shares outstanding, too many zeros to count to tell you what it is exactly. But what I can do from here is I will take this location URL, put it into my browser, and at the very top of the screen, it will show you exactly where you're at. One thing that I built to make it easier to see is I built a bookmark inside of Google that runs a JavaScript function to show you exactly what it is. So I can see 24.3 billion right here when I click that button. Makes it super easy. And this is very important as in stock market data. Data integrity is one of the most important things that companies are looking for. So having the ability to audit your data from a programmatically generated piece of it is huge. So I hope you find this functionality useful, and I will include that JavaScript function and this IPy notebook inside of the link to this video. So if you're interested in using either of them to help build your code out and have that bookmark saved, just open up those files and you should be able to use both of them. Now that we have this done for one company, I'm going to give one last example of a loop. So I want to take those recent filings that we built up here in step 2. We have 52 of them. So just for filing in the recent filings, give me the link. And I want to create a SEC company object for every single one of them. I'm going to scrape the same attributes, and then I am going to take those data frames that it builds and put it into a list. From there, I use pd.concat to stack them on top of each other. I reset the index, and it returns a nice pretty data frame with all of the data in one place for us. All right, now that we have it done, we've got 385 rows of data that got returned. One thing to note is that dates inside of the SEC are either as of, which is represented by the date column. So as of 12/29, this is what the shares were, or you have period dates. So for our earnings per share, it started on October 1st of 24 and the period ended on 9/30 of 25. So that was a 1 year period, just doing the quick math. I added all three of these date columns here to allow you to have the flexibility to choose what dates you need. And it is up to the analyst or the engineer, whoever may be using this tool, to identify what date I need to be using for each attribute. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and that you give SEC Eagle a try for yourself. If you end up building a new database, analytics pipeline, or machine learning model with this data, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you're creating and some of the success stories that you guys are having. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment as well. I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks once again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next one.